I don't really have favorite objects because as I'm learning about the collection, I change my mind.
Okay.
But there are objects that certainly capture my imagination and I find are very powerful. Do you have an idea what this is for?
I assume it's some sort of weapon, but...
It's actually your steering wheel for driving an elephant.
Oh my gosh.
So this is how you guide your elephant. You poke the elephant using this object, which is called a goad or an ankus. It's one of the finest examples of its kind known, the most extravagant, you could say. You do not need to be deeply knowledgeable in art to appreciate that this is hard to make. That it has a lot of imagery and you wonder what it is about.
Right.
And then it has this origin, which comes from a practical tool for working with an elephant, which not everybody gets to do.
I'm curious, what was your pathway into the arts? How did you end up becoming a curator?
It was somewhat unlikely because I was educated in law and business, and France, where I grew up, doesn't have a college system. So I had to make a decision by the time I turned 17. I stumbled upon a niche area of art history, which really intrigued me. It was a hobby, and I thought I should align my passion with my energy and time. And that's when I started looking for what it is like to actually research those objects, share the knowledge of these objects.
You're stepping into this role at a critical time in the arts right now. So many people are feeling as if the arts are under attack. I wonder if you could help me understand what leadership looks like for the arts in this moment. You have a history and background in arms and armor. I wonder if that's coming in handy.
Well, arms and armor has certainly taught me about resilience. I think this is an important moment. There's a lot that is at stake. It is an invitation for us to both be very thoughtful about what we stand for. It's a time to consider our mission, our values, and to act in accordance to what we believe we are delivering. And it's also not a moment to act in isolation.
I know that the MFA doesn't rely as heavily on federal funding as other smaller arts organizations in the city. How does the MFA plan to assist or step in or work with those other organizations to ensure that they can continue doing the work that is so important?
I think we're in a moment where resilience is not just about weathering headwinds, but it is actually about how we can take initiative. We're not a philanthropic institution in the sense of being a grant-making organization.
Right.
But that said, we have a number of ways to leverage our position. One, we have a collection, and so it's like how can our objects help, whether it's through loans or programs. We also have collaborations, I think they're about exchanges. So these exchanges are about staff, it's about performances coming here, and then also seeking how we can mobilize resources, philanthropy, to the benefit of all.
One of the things your predecessor has really worked on is making the museum more welcoming, making it better reflect the demographics that are changing in this city. How do you plan to extend on that work and make people feel like the MFA is a home for them?
We want to be the museum that is open to everyone. Some of the things we're thinking about is how can our programs ensure the representation that creates the engagement. Personally, I'm also drawn to the permanent collection as a way to think about sort of universal life stories, something about our shared humanity, not just thinking in terms of categories, but thinking more about those things that make us distinct as humans.
Right. You've talked about wanting to kind of refresh the permanent collection, rethink the permanent collection. What would that look like under your leadership? When
you're coming across something that is unfamiliar, you can look at it and you can read the labels, but there is so much more, which can be about how things are made. It can be about where they've been until they got here. Okay. It can be about whether the artist that created this object departed from conventions and created a rupture and had boldness and a vision that challenged their contemporaries. Right. So some of them are created because people are grieving. And so I think if we bring back also the emotions behind the objects, the emotions of either how they were received, how they're created, we can generate a broader invitation to engage with the art.
wasn't this one in somebody's like Brookline backyard?
Where things have been, that's research that is important, not just for cultural heritage or restitution, but it's also about the many identities that this object had. When he had it in his garden, he was thinking of it differently than we are now, looking at it standing here.
Ethics are coming up a lot right now for museum leaders as they have to navigate the politics in Washington. Artist Amy Sherald recently withdrew her exhibit from the Smithsonian galleries after concerns arose about one of her artworks. How do you balance the notion of institutional fear with institutional autonomy in this very charged moment we're in?
In our case, I would describe our position more as institutional awareness, right, or vigilance. That is, we obviously want to be in compliance with all existing laws, but we always go back to our mission. And our mission is to be a place that engages by ideas with the richness of the human experience across cultures, across continents, recognizing that both communities and individuals have made contributions that we want to celebrate.
Malcolm Rogers will forever be known for opening up the Art of the Americas wing. Matthew Titelbaum will be remembered for opening up the museum to more diverse Bostonians. What would you like your legacy to be?
I think we have an important role to play in both finding refuge and place of peace in the museum, and at the same time also be able to engage with essential questions about one's life in a particular moment in time, through that perspective taking, and finding comfort and inspiration.